Hello, and welcome to Unexplained Possibilities Podcast. I'm your host, Melvin the Crimson Taurus, and if you can't tell, I am still a bit under the weather. Much better than last podcast, thankfully, but not 100% yet. And as you guys know, we're not live just yet, but I'm thinking later this month we'll be able to do live shows again, so hang on, darn it, it's coming. Niema can't be here tonight. She is doing her fashionista thing, and I'm so proud of her. She has created quite a few clothing lines from scratch, even a summer bikini for you ladies out there. So look into that. But as you guys know, if I'm doing a podcast, I'm not alone. I have someone with me. And tonight, I am so happy to have a friend on. We haven't spoken for a good minute now, and he has come back to join us. This guy is a paranormal investigator, podcast host, weight loss specialist at this point. Please welcome one of the nicest people I know, Shawn Gilmore. Shawn, welcome back.
Hey, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for agreeing to come on. It was somewhat short notice, but you popped in here. So how are things on your side of the tracks?
Uh, Things are in the up and up, I will say. I've been on a little bit of a hiatus, working on my health mentally and physically, and I am getting back into things. And to be honest, you are my first interview I've had in a very long time. So this is kind of my introduction back, if you will.
Oh, all right. Well, welcome back.
Thank you. It's just been busy, with doing the family thing and well, yeah, I don't know how deep you want to get into all that, but yeah, so now I finally feel like I'm in a good place where I can get back into this, and I actually have my first investigation of the year coming up this weekend here.
Oh, okay. Now, can you share where it is, or it's still a secret?
Sure. I No, we're not filming or anything, so I don't think
Okay.
it's a big secret or anything. I am going with two prior teammates from Ectovision, Amber and Chris. But
Okay.
we are going to the Grand Midway Hotel in Pennsylvania.
Nice. It's funny you mention Ectovision because you guys know I always talk up Ectovision every single time, even though, it's been 5 or 6 years since I can't remember the last place investigated, but I know it's been about 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
And I still watch some of the old episodes on the channel. I just can't help it. I love Ectovision. And I had the idea of doing or reaching out and seeing if I could get you, Eric, Amber, freaking Marcus, see if I could get an Ectovision reunion of some sort on air.
That would be awesome. I'd be
Yeah.
down.
Yeah, so I need to reach out to everyone and see if they would like, because I haven't spoken to Eric and Amber in so long, and I need to catch up and see how they're doing.
For sure. I could help if you'd like. Definitely happy
Yeah.
to.
So
Anything.
something to think about. Who knows? Maybe that'll be the return live show for Unexplained. That'll be
Ooh,
something.
that'd be awesome.
Yeah. So okay. So first investigation in a minute. How excited are you to get your feet wet again?
I'm pumped. This place, I haven't been able to been go to this location yet, and I've heard nothing but great things. On the roof of this building, I don't know if you're familiar. Um, they have like I don't know if it's the world's largest, but I want to say it is. The world's or the largest Ouija board. It's like painted on the roof of the building.
Okay. So that's
And
unique. I did not know that.
yes, and every room has its own theme. And apparently we are sleeping there. In the room I'm sleeping in, um, it is vampire themed. In each room, I guess some of the rooms have like a secret room. This room has a secret room with coffins that you can sleep in if you so choose.
No
Um,
way.
the reason why I chose this room was because the door, I saw a picture of the door to the room, and it was a picture of Archangel Michael.
Oh,
and
okay.
I've always felt a connection to Archangel Michael, so I felt like that was a good choice. And this room is supposed to be really haunted too, so
Okay. Well, I
it'll be
mean,
interesting.
you'll find out firsthand.
I will.
That is really cool. So, are you going to actually sleep in a coffin too?
I mean, I might lay down in one for a little bit. We'll see where spirit leads me, I suppose.
I come on, you got to sleep in a coffin. I would easily.
They're really uncomfortable though.
Uh, well, you know
So
what?
I might like lay in it. I don't know if you ever laid in a coffin before, but I have, just because, I've been doing the paranormal thing and trying to stir things up. Marcus Hogg had a location where he had a coffin. I don't know if it was just his coffin, but I laid in that coffin, and it was very uncomfortable.
Okay, so
I would not recommend it.
maybe in there for 2 minutes, and that's about it.
Maybe 10, 15.
Oh, okay,
We'll see.
all
Maybe
right.
I'll do a live. Ooh, I haven't done a live in a long time. Maybe I'll do
That would
that.
be pretty cool. This is
Yeah.
Shawn Gilmore. I'm in a coffin.
I'm a coffin.
Welcome.
I got a TikTok too. Maybe I'll do it on the TikTok.
Yeah, you see, I never could get into the TikTok thing, and I don't know. It's just something about it. It's not for me. Like, how do you
It,
do TikTok? Like, how does that work?
I don't know, but so you just like make these short little videos, and they have a real easy editing program that you use. Most of my videos are probably more of barbecuing, but I have a few paranormal things on there. Um, but I have a couple thousand followers on there,
Mhm.
but if I were to be honest with you, the way I got most of those followers, I don't know if they still do it, because I've taken a step back from a lot of things social media wise, but I did these things called follow trains. And so you just like follow, and then like so I end up with like a bunch of like whatever followers. And so I just wanted to get to the point where I could do lives. And I got to the point where I could do lives. I never did a live.
Oh, come
So
on.
well, it's the thing. I did like a live like once, but the problem is when I did it, and they could have changed the system again. I don't know if they have. So correct me if I'm wrong in comments or whatever. But um, they didn't. They don't save your live videos. Once you go live and you end the video, it's gone.
Mm-mm.
I went live and I went to go and I was doing an investigation, and I went to go and review something, so I thought something happened and I couldn't review it, and I was just bummed. So
Yeah, that is
I
a
just said the
bummer.
heck with it. Yeah.
Okay, so they don't archive it. I guess it's a bandwidth thing and overall memory on the servers, but that's a bummer. Usually, they will save it at least for a week, so you could download it.
Maybe like I said, they could have changed it, but when I did it, that's way that it was, and I never went back to it.
Well,
So
that's a bummer.
yeah,
But oh well, live and learn.
exactly. So I mean, I like to like when I did my podcast and everything, it was all done in on Facebook, and you always go back and replay it, and it's of course YouTube as well. So
Mhm. Oh,
I've always
actually, speaking of Facebook, make sure you download all your archives. Apparently, they're about to get rid of them.
what?
Yeah, I they sent me several emails saying, "Hey, the archives for your live shows or whatever, they're gonna go away. So make sure you download them."
I will definitely look into that.
Yeah, you don't want that stuff disappearing just like that because it is part of your history, part of your life. Because you were
Right.
doing our paranormal on the RU Media Network,
Hmm.
and a lot of fun. I enjoyed you and Brian. Great
Thank you.
camaraderie. You guys were a lot of fun. And
Brian
hmm?
Brian is awesome. He's become a very good friend of mine, and he's been a big part of my health journey. A big supporter of mine for that. Um, I'm and so we still stay in contact. I've done a couple investigations with him. The few I did last year, I did with him and his team. Um, but I've also Zarina Crow. She was a great co-host as well. We had
Yep.
some great. some great shows, and John Ward also. He was who I started it with,
Yep.
and he's now an author writing.
Scareville, right?
Yes,
Yeah. I think he's on his fifth book. I want to say he's doing
yeah,
his fifth.
it's
I
awesome.
Yeah, I need to pick him up. I'm lagging behind, but I need to pick them up and read all of them because, from what I understand, they're actually really good.
They are. They're a lot of fun. I think they're fun. I really like them a lot.
Yeah, so it's interesting looking back and the people you meet, who you host with. It's a wild experience, man. It's like whoa.
It is, and it's where everyone's grown and moved up to, and as Zarina say, leveling up, right?
Yep, gonna level up. It's really cool. Okay, so what was harder for you, investigating or podcasting?
What's harder? The
Yeah.
podcast was harder. um, so with the podcast, and this kind of led me to part of one of my reasons why I took a hiatus from the paranormal community. Um, People just acted I didn't appreciate how little people appreciated what I was trying to do for them.
Mm,
People would act like you know, they think that there's some sort of like celebrity or better than someone else, or like we're all normal people here. I'm sorry, and that really left a bad taste in my mouth. It was really hard. People just were really really hard um, to fully commit, and people would think that their egos just would get in. I think egos got in the way a lot, um, with people just thinking that they're better than others, or they think, I don't know, they want to have some sort of like celebrity status.
mhm,
And I'm sorry, in the paranormal community, um, none of us are celebrities. Some people work really hard to be well known, and like Mike Ricksecker, he works a lot of hard and does some real hardcore research. And but there's others that think that just because they're in a couple TV shows that they're movie stars or something, and that, or they have a couple successful YouTube videos, they're cooler than anyone else, and that really just doesn't sit well with me. Even if you have a successful podcast, great, awesome, but that doesn't make you better than anyone. And people would just, I just didn't like how I noticed started to notice people treating each other. So I had to take a step back from all of that.
yeah, that's understandable. Because like you're an empath and you can feel certain energies, certain emotions better than other folks. And if something isn't right or you feel that they aren't coming off right, then they're not. Simple as that. There is
Mhm.
something wrong. They're not humbling themselves. They're not being down there for cool. Like, don't get me wrong. We all want success in our own way,
Right.
but you don't need to think you're a big shot if you obtain it or step on someone and say you're little now, go away.
Exactly.
And
Um,
I can see how that would affect you and just bug you, and it's like it's not supposed to be this way.
right. I mean, with the paranormal, it's a pseudoscience, right? And so what that means is pretty much we need to work together. Everyone, even like people that build equipment, there's bad blood between people because people are stealing ideas or whatever. I mean, if you have a patented idea, then no one can steal your idea. Do it right. It's not a problem. But that's not even the thing. We need to work together. If someone takes an idea and they turn it into their own, or they find another way of doing it, uh, I don't understand. I'm not a builder, so maybe that's why I don't understand this. But if you're building equipment, or if you're sharing your evidence, we should all be working together. If someone says, hey, check out this evidence that I caught, or check out this experience I had, it shouldn't be shot down and belittled. You weren't there to experience what they experienced. You didn't, not only did you not see what they saw, you didn't feel what they felt. So there's just too much of that. There's too much competition. If we all work together, then maybe we can actually work to find some true answers or explanations to some things. But it's never going to happen as long as people are competing with each other and belittling each other.
Hmm. Yeah, and what I've noticed is they form cliques as well, which
Yes.
sounds it's weird. It's like, how does that happen? Like, oh no, I'm with these guys here. If you're not with us, you're against us. Like, what?
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
what the heck?
It's like going back to high school.
You know,
I agree with that too.
I always found that interesting. Like, how do you form a clique trying to find some ghosts? Just
And it's almost to the point where people are using the paranormal for the wrong reasons. I got into the paranormal because of experiences I had as a kid, and I wanted to find my answers. And then when I started to find my answers, and I started to feel the understandings that I had, I wanted to help people, and that's what it was about. And I wanted to help spirit. Most times in people's homes, I have found that the problem is just finding a way to bridge the communication gap, and just finding a mutual respect. And how do you do that between the living and spirit? And that's not always easy to do, but it's doable with an open mind and with the proper research, I think.
now with communication between spirit and our physical beings, like between this reality, this physical reality, and this spiritual reality,
Mm.
are there any specific tools that you like using that sort of bridges that gap to communication?
So I'm not a medium, so I don't really hear spirit. I feel spirit
Mm-hmm.
being an empath, right? So I feel it empathically. I could feel the energies. I try to use my digital recorders, and there is a spirit box that I really like. Um, and that's those are my main ways that I've kind of grown to use. I used to be so much against spirit boxes until I had an experience in Arizona, at a old mining town, and then that I ended up becoming friends with Austin Maynard, um, and he's one of the builders out there. But he introduced me to IDC devices, the IDC Direct Link. So this spirit box, which separates it from others, is it's it's got a little ring that you put your finger over. Your body is used as the antenna for it, and it's a
Mm.
random sweep. So it's not going through the sweeping through the radio waves in order. So and you can change all the settings and stuff. But I feel that that the direct link is that's my go-to spirit box. But when I was at the mining town, and I just brought a little hacked radio, and I was in the middle of the desert. There's no radio reception, and it's sweeping through the AM stations just. And then um, I asked if it was okay that I was in there trying to talk to them, and clear as day, I got, as cliche as it sounds, get out. And it
Ooh.
was creepy sounding, and there's no way that was. I mean, there was no radio coming through until I got that, and I was like, okay, there's something to this. Um, so that's what got me interested, and then Austin Maynard introduced me to even more things with it, and he built me a couple boxes, and actually one that he built me um, has a black sapphire scrying mirror attached to it. So you use this spirit box as your scrying.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to do because when you're scrying, it's a meditation. You're supposed to get your head in it. So I've struggled getting to that point, but what it does do, and a lot of times when you're on an investigation, a lot of times you just have to open yourself up more to it, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so I feel like it's really helped me open up more. So where I can't get to that meditative state, trying to use the settings and do this scrying while doing the spirit box. One thing I did try a couple times was I would try and scry while someone else was trying to do the spirit box, but those black sapphire scrying mirrors are small. But so I have more experimenting to do with that, and I'm excited for that.
Oh, nice. You're gonna have to let us know how it goes. And I've always been iffy with spirit boxes. I'm still iffy with them, but
Hmm.
when they're picking something up, like if someone is speaking through them and it's no radio waves or anything, it shouldn't be connecting to any frequency. Yeah,
Right.
that's when it's like, okay, all right, something's going on. And I'm curious, when it
Mhm.
said get out, did you actually leave or did you stay?
Um, so I stayed for a little bit trying to get more responses, but I didn't after long, and I didn't want to be too disrespectful, so I did end up leaving.
Okay. Yeah, you see, that's one thing that I love about your investigation style and Eric's and Ectovision in general. You guys are so respectful. I love that. Whereas some popular investigating shows on Travel Channel or whatever, they are kind of the opposite. And they teach people the wrong thing. And
Right.
I really appreciate you being respectful to whatever is there. And, if it's if you say, hey, we'll leave, we just want you to say something or whatever, says whatever, and then it's like, okay, we'll leave. I really
Yeah.
appreciate that. It's just such a nice thing that more people need to do because we don't truly know what's going on the other side. We might be the spirits to them and freaking them out.
Right.
You
And
know,
I definitely agree with that. And I mean, that to your point, you don't know who you're talking to.
yeah,
So, um, can it be a demon? Maybe. Chances are probably pretty small, but maybe. If it is a demon, how badly do you want to piss this demon off? But more importantly, if that's a human spirit, which more than likely I believe that's what it is we're communicating with most times, that's somebody's child. That's somebody's mother, someone's father, someone's grandfather. That was a living person. I'm not going to go into somebody's house and start egging on this someone's home. Like I'm not going to go into my neighbor's house and start talking crap to my neighbor and be like, "Hey, make this ball move," and then start cussing at it and expecting it to do more because I'm yelling at it. That's not the right approach. And to me, when you're dealing with spirit, and whether if you're doing this as a look, you're doing like religious prayer, or you're in church or whatever. When you're dealing with anything on that, I believe you should be respectful. And just as much as we want to be respected, everything wants to be respected. Even your dog wants to be respected, right? So, why am I going to go into someone else's space, living or otherwise, and expect that it's okay to treat somebody or something any certain way other than how I want to be treated?
exactly. And the more people understand that, chances are they're going to get better results.
I believe so.
Now, you
And
mentioned something I want to jump into because someone has asked me this question before and I can't answer it. So let's throw it to an expert here. You mentioned a dog. Okay, so where are the animals at? Where are they? They don't seem to show up a lot in investigations, or are we just not paying attention enough and they're actually there?
I think that you hit the nail on the head. I think we're not paying attention to it. I had a cat that passed away a few years back, and about a year later, I did not replace the cat, and I just got a new cat a couple months ago, and it's been years, and I heard this cat meow in my daughter's bedroom
Hmm.
when we did not have a cat, and her bedroom's on the second floor of our house. Um, Now, granted, our house is very old. It's a uh, built in 1918, an old colonial farmhouse. So, um, but I recognized, you know your pet sounds.
Yes.
I recognized, and his name was Mel, named after the Mel meter. um, but yeah, so I think that they are out there. I bought for an investigation. I went out and bought a dog whistle, trying to get the attention of a dog, it's the spirit of a dog that was said to be in the location. Um, so I I don't know. I believe that animals have souls and they have spirit, and I believe that they can end up here in our plane just as easily as us. Maybe since they aren't like they don't have the mental capacity that we have, or maybe they just don't end up stuck here as much because they don't have the same type of attachment, mental attachment or what have you, as we have here. But I don't know.
Yeah, it's just something that's always been interesting to me. And going even further than that, where are the dinosaurs? As dumb as that sounds,
No, right?
and it makes me wonder if there's an expiration date on how long we can actually stay on this side of the fence in spiritual form before going elsewhere. Like we're forcefully pulled elsewhere, or I don't know, maybe that spark runs out and you move on. I wonder about that because humanity has been around for thousands of years, and I don't necessarily hear people talk about running into ancient spirits, our ancestors, or something like that. And going further with the dinosaurs, they ruled the planet at one point, and where's their spirits at? Like, did it? Although, admittedly, it's been many millions of years, but you would think it would be something, some type of residual energy at least. But you
Well,
know,
I've been to ancient Native American like sites of where there were old forts and things, and there's definitely at least a residual energy from that.
yeah.
As far as like the dinosaurs, I don't know. Maybe it does have something to do with time, and um how we're all connected through time. I mean, there's so many people now in the paranormal field that are really getting into that research of time and everything. And actually, again, Mike Ricksecker is a great person to if you're interested in that. He's got a lot of great information. He does so much great research. He's of all the well-known people in the paranormal community. He's got I think he's got most of my respect. Like I respect him the most. Because I know he's put in the work. I know that it's his research. I know that and I know that he's real and he's not making stuff up and he's not saying something's his that's not. So, um, but Maybe it does have something to do with the time, the way that we're all affected by time and how time really moves.
It's just something I've been curious about. Other people
Yeah.
have mentioned it to me, and it's like, you know what? That thinking about it, it's like we can't really explain it, but you would think it would be something still here, just anything.
Here's something that I've kind of thought. I've always had trouble believing in Bigfoot, the physical Bigfoot,
Yeah.
because they can tell me how many mountain lions there are in California, but they can't find a Bigfoot. Um, that just baffles me, right? And so, but what if? Because I don't want to discredit people who have seen the Bigfoot. What if it is some sort of interdimensional being or a spirit of a creature that used to exist? There have been findings of, you know, human giants. If you, I don't, I've spent too much time watching the Discovery Channel. There have been findings of human giants and things like that. What if that is an apparition of that spirit, or if that's not what it is, then it's got to be some sort of interdimensional being. Because I don't want to say Bigfoot doesn't exist, but physical in our physical realm, I don't understand how they could say tell me how many how many sea turtles there are. You can tell me how many sea turtles there are and how many nests there are, but you can't find Bigfoot. And they can do that with literally with any animal except for, you know, maybe animals in the deep sea, right?
Yeah.
So how is that? I mean, they're not in the deep sea. They're in the woods of the Americas and the in Europe. Every culture has some sort of version of Bigfoot. So what is this Bigfoot creature? I think it's something more spiritual than physical.
Well,
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's an ancient spirit.
maybe I'm a believer in Bigfoot. I do think it's a lot of hoax out there, but I am a believer, and I think it's interdimensional.
Yeah.
I can't prove it. I sound like a nut, but
Mhm.
that's how I feel because it makes no sense that we
At all.
haven't been able to capture it, or when people they try to get it on camera or whatever, for whatever reason, they have technical problems. Their equipment shuts down, or it just all of a sudden gets extremely blurry, which to me sounds like a reaction from some type of electromagnetic field or pulse or something.
Yeah.
And I don't think Bigfoot are native to this planet. I think this is just a bridge, a pit stop as they go to wherever. I think they're intelligent. I think they kind of troll folks,
Okay.
and I think they are just from elsewhere. I think they're interdimensional.
That's the only explanation that makes sense to me too. Because like I said, I just don't believe in the physical idea of Bigfoot being like a a tall hairy beast that lives in the woods and just hides from us. That I don't think that that doesn't sit well with me. But yes, I definitely can go with the interdimensional. I believe I have experienced interdimensional energies, and that is a very interesting thing. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, you have to share that. You brought up. You got to share it. What's going on
I,
with this?
so a lot of people believe that. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. So um, I have to remember. See, now I'm rusty, guys.
Yeah, it's
Um,
okay.
Hold on, and I should know this because I've been to this place like so many times, but I'm also sick. I'm trying not to cough, so
Yeah,
whenever I feel like I'm going to cough, I take a sip of water.
yeah.
There
I
you
just
go.
mute the mic and I
Oh,
hack it away. So,
um, oh my goodness, I can't believe I can't think of this right now. Um,
oh no, are you experiencing a senior moment?
I
What's that?
am
Uh oh.
experiencing a senior moment.
Oh no.
Oh my God. The Monroe House.
Okay.
Monroe House, and And yes, I found it before I found it on Google. So, in Indiana, so I had an experience there. And I've been there several times. One of the times I was there, I had an experience where I was going to sleep, and they have a room where most people use as like home base. Some people call it safe room, whatever you want to call it. But there used to be like a couch in there, and I put my sleeping bag over the couch, and I was sleeping there. I was just in that state of just about to fall asleep. So I was not fully asleep, but I was in that state. And I've had other experiences while in this state. So this night, in this state, I got up and I walked in through the kitchen and down the hallway. And this is before they renovated the house. So you walk in the kitchen, and then there wasn't as much of a hallway. And there was a big open like living room. But anyways, I walked in, and there was someone sitting in a chair, and this thing or person who was sitting there, I could tell was really tall because the way that it was sitting in the chair, the legs were slanted upward before to the knees.
Hmm.
So the legs are like so long that the knees, like their legs are like slanted up while the feet were touching the ground. And the arms were so long that the arms were like, oh, like pointy elbows, reaching way over the arms of the chair. And this thing had, oh my gosh, this is just like almost like what you'd see in a horror movie. It was it had, I could tell it was bald, but for some reason it presented itself to me wearing a fedora. I don't know. I still can't figure out what that means.
Hmm.
But it had big smile, with really like scary teeth and dark eyes, and it had almost like it wasn't stripes. Maybe it was stripes. It's hard to tell if it was scars or stripes on its face. It's definitely not human, right? And it it wanted to show me that it was there. Um, to give a little bit more on this story, this night we were investigating in the basement, and I started to ask questions. This home, I've always felt that the home was built like on top of a cemetery. This home, that the land when you're on it's in the backyard. It, to me, it's the same energy as a cemetery. Not necessarily bad,
Hmm.
but like a cemetery. Cemeteries, to me, they have energy, right? There's a lot of dead bodies, right? And it's, to me, has, so I recognize this energy as that. And so I started to ask about this, and started asking about if it was possibly Native American, all these other things. And somewhere I must have crossed the line. Um, because as we were, I was asking these questions, trying to get interaction. Imagine the world's loudest cricket going
Oh,
off.
oh gosh.
It was terrifying. It did not feel good. Like all of a sudden, it was just like really ear piercing, loud crickets, and then on our, so I was like, okay, well maybe we should go. And as we were going up, we found bones. I think the bones ended up being for like some sort of animal that just fell from, because they're always working on the place, so they could have just fallen loose. I don't know, but they were definitely some old bones. And so I took all this as like signs, like, okay, we crossed the line. This isn't okay. And so what I ended up doing was I took some tobacco and some sage and I put it, all I had was a red Solo cup. So I put it in a Solo cup and I offered it as a gift of respect and apology, really. And the energy changed after that, and we ended up going to bed, and then that's when that happened. And so for whatever reason, it whatever that was, um, wanted me to know it was there, and I felt like it needed help. Um, that's the feeling I got. It didn't want to scare me, even though it did. I think that was my first idea. Like, why would this thing want to like show me wearing a hat? Maybe wanted to humanize itself somehow, and maybe thought I wouldn't be as scared.
Yeah.
Um, that's the only thing I could think of. But so I've been there a couple times since, and never did I have an experience quite like that. But when you go to that place, you get what you put in there. Um, so it a lot of people think that what's there is demonic. I don't. I believe that what's there is interdimensional, but I do believe that it is trapped there for some reason. There's a lot of stories of people doing rituals and other things, and there's evidence of it too. People they've found like little sacks of different things inside of it, and so I don't know, but where it can leave it for some reason always has to go back. So, but I do believe that what's there is not demonic. I think that people go in there treating it like it's demonic and calling it demonic. So he's just like, you know what? You want demonic? I'll give you demonic,
Yeah. You want
and
me to be the monster? I'll turn
I'll
into the
show you.
monster.
I'll
Yeah.
show you a freaking monster, right? So, um, but so yeah, that thing is there. I think is some sort of interdimensional being. I mean, it's definitely not human, and it didn't. I don't know. It didn't feel demonic. I've had experience. My experiences when I was younger, I believe those were demonic, and that's not what I was experiencing there. But hey, if that's what that's a you're when you're investigating the paranormal, your intentions are literally everything.
Hmm. I
So.
100% agree with that. I tell people all the time, what you put out is what you're going to receive back. If you expect something scary and harmful or whatever, you're putting that energy out there and maybe it feeds off of it, maybe it senses it and it's like, okay, well, if it gets you to see me how you expect to see me or if it gives you this message, then that's how I'm going to be. That's, of course, that's not to say it's a 100% thing because it isn't. But I do truly believe that we project our energy, our thoughts onto these spirits that we may not, we just don't understand and they pick up on it.
I definitely agree with that. And
Yeah.
I think that also, if you push enough, like I'll tell you what, you come into my house, you start disrespecting me, you're going to get some pushback from me too, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it all comes out to that. There's a big difference between a pissed off spirit, pissing off a spirit, and a demon. And I don't believe demons really are too concerned with us. I
Hmm.
don't think that I believe in demons. I believe in angels. I believe angels protect us too. Um, and I believe that some people are protected by demons. But it's just not it's not what is projected by Hollywood or others. Um, So yeah, people want to throw around all this demon stuff way too much and way too easily, and I think it's mostly because it sells. It's fear.
Yeah,
Where
it's the fear. And
uh-huh.
like, I say this all the time. Every story has to have a bad guy. And, in the paranormal world, it's demonic. It's the demons. They're the bad guys, even though we don't really know what they are, you know.
100%. There's some people that fully believe that not all demons are bad. I had someone on my podcast. They would say that some angels are just as bad as what people think demons are. But
Yeah.
the fact of the matter is, we really don't know. But our intentions and what we want to get out of it is what we're going to get out of it. I've been touched by spirit. I've had all sorts of experiences, but knock on wood, I've never been scratched.
Mm, okay. Wow. I've spoken to a couple of people who have been scratched, but they said it was a wonderful experience for them because it told them like, wow, something is here. They didn't take it as something negative, which I know, getting scratched and feeling something burn, you immediately associate like, this is not good. This hurts. Oh no. But for them, it was a thrill because it proved the point for them. It's like, yes, I knew it. Something is here. Amazing.
So again, when it comes to being scratched, there's a lot of different theories, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people think you get the three scratches, it's the mark of the devil.
Hmm.
Um, and there's some, what if it is a little kid just trying to get your attention and they accidentally scratch you? There's a lot of
Yeah.
different theories out there, right? But my intentions have been I'm okay with being poked or whatever, but I go in my investigations very well shielded and guarded and again high respect. So um, I've never had that experience. I my intention is always to gain interaction, and if there's a way I can help, to somehow be guided to help. And I don't go in there with any sort of intention of and I'm not in this to be scared. I'm not going to see a horror movie, right? I'll go and watch a horror movie. I'll go to a haunted house with actors for that type of a thrill. That's not the type of thrill I'm looking for. I'm trying to actually understand and maybe help us or help me. The bottom line, right? Because no one's going to listen to me. Um, further understand and have a better connection
Hmm.
to what's in our world. Um, and that's one thing that I've definitely experienced is once you walk through this threshold of the paranormal, there's no leaving it. You can leave the paranormal community, but the paranormal sticks with you. I'll tell you what.
Yeah. That's interesting you say that because it seems like yeah, like you just said, when the door is open, it's open. It's no closing it. And I
Yep.
wonder if it's because you literally are taking a piece of it with you. Like you open something up in your mind and it just happen and it acts like a beacon and it attracts. I wonder.
That's a I don't disagree with that, right? Because you go and because you now for me, I've had experiences where I am a true believer. I understand the importance of skepticism because not everything is paranormal.
Hmm.
Um, and you have to be able to find a way to differentiate it. And when you go into an investigation, you're already setting yourself up. You're mentally there, and your mind will play tricks on you. So it's once you do get through there though, and your body knows that it's there, you recognize it. It's like Eric McGill. He's not psychic or he doesn't claim to be sensitive at all, but he would be able to tell us exactly when we're going to get an EVP because you
Wow.
recognize the feeling. You
Hmm.
recognize you right, and once you open yourself up to that, that's open. There's no. I don't think there's any way to really close that. You might be able to ignore it. but there's no closing it. There's no getting away from it once you go through it. It's weird. Like you, it's like it is. It's like you walk through a threshold, and once you walk through that threshold, it's like you have some sort of um, I don't know. Maybe it's an energy, like you said, like you like a almost like a target that's put on you, or I don't want to say target. Target feels sounds negative.
Yeah, that sounds like you're getting hunted
Negative
at. Like,
sounds
get over.
negative. Right. So like maybe it does though. Maybe it does like leave like some sort of like spiritual like I don't know, maybe some sort of spiritual scar, or maybe it's a light. Maybe like a light is lit within you spiritually. And we are brought up to fear and not have not want to do anything with spirituality, right?
Mhm.
Religion and movies and all of that. We're for whatever reason, Big Brother does not want us to be open spiritually. So I mean, that's
Yeah,
so now instead of having eons of human experience and having answers through that, we have to do it this way because we're all taught that it's evil and wrong.
yeah. It's a control thing
Yeah,
because you can't have someone free thinking and open to all these things because then you start questioning, and if you question, you're gonna notice what isn't correct, and you make a fuss, and everything collapses, or rather, you take control back. But that's a topic for another time.
100%.
Yeah.
And once you get into that, it's like so easy because you want, and then at that point, you want everything to be paranormal. And that's why I say I understand the importance of needing to have be able to differentiate between what and debunking or being a little bit skeptical for the experiences that are going on,
Hmm.
because not everything is paranormal. And it's like I had a light that was flickering in my house, and it just kept on happening, and my kids were freaked out because it was just happening to one lamp. And I was like, guys, it's happening too much. I'm like, do you know how like this has been going on for like 25, 30 minutes. And if it happened like a couple times and maybe like flickered a couple times throughout an hour, but for it to be flickering, because they were asking questions, and it was like doing the flashlight thing,
Oh,
and
okay.
and so I wanted to prove a point to them. I went and I got some equipment out, and sure enough, I did get some experience. But that again, not being skeptical on that light flickering. This is an old house. A lot of the electricity is updated, yes, but it's old. And there's also other resident spirits. So when I got my equipment out and the what I got, the interaction I did get could have been the resident spirits. Like, oh, hey, look, he's trying to talk to us. This is only his second time ever since he lived here for 12 years that he's doing this. So let's go take advantage of this. So maybe that was it. So still, I don't know about that flickering light, but what happened after? I have a just some like K2s that went off, and I got some interesting responses on the Spirit Box.
Well, that
So
that is pretty interesting. Who knows? Maybe.
I am.
All right, so maybe we could look at it this way. It was a weird way to get you to communicate, to
Yeah.
get you to do something, to get noticed, or it was just a very odd coincidence that fate decided to have a part in.
See, I believe in the fate thing. I don't think I don't know for when something's happening so much. That's no longer paranormal, right? That's legit. The that's not even legit. The opposite of the meaning of paranormal when it's starting to happen and when it's happening over and over again. Well, that then becomes normal, right? So,
Yep.
um, so that's where you have to be have an open mind. And since then, I have been talking to others to come in and investigate my home. I know my home has spirits. I know that the outside of my home has even more. So, well, I'll keep you updated on that too because
Yeah,
who knows?
I'm
Because
curious.
we We have gotten EVPs. When I first bought the house, we when I was with EVP, we did like a practice investigation in my house. It was empty, so we did and we did get some EVPs.
So you know what? I it's a girl that I'm speaking to, and she has a a very weird haunted home. I wonder if she's going to listen to this. I don't know if she's going to listen or not. Probably not, but we'll just call her Other A. And she's lived in that home for a while. Someone did pass away there, and every now and then she sees this dark figure, like just a very dark figure. First thing that comes to my mind is, oh, a shadow person or whatever, but I don't really know. But that thing, for whatever reason, it stays in the kitchen area. And she tells me that whenever she has to go to the kitchen, doesn't matter what time it is, she just feels like she's being watched.
Mhm.
She's uncomfortable. And it's just like, it doesn't do anything. But have you ever experienced that? And if so, what is a way to get rid of it or just, I don't know, come to terms, try to communicate? What do you do in that situation?
I would that would have to be depend on the person, right?
Hmm.
So yes, I have experienced things like that. The experiences I had when I was a kid, very much like that. Um, there was a shadow person that I saw, and always had a feeling of being watched and felt unsafe in my own home. Um, the question is why is it there, right? And
Hmm.
so what I would, if they are not experienced in communicating with spirit or doing investigations, I would suggest her finding someone that is, whether if
Well,
it's a paranormal team or something, and finding a way to bridge the gap of communication that's there. Why, maybe you won't find out why it's there, but at least you can get the intention out there of, wanting to live and, live together and coexist together one way or another. Or if it is something that you have to have something more serious done, and um, we'll say ask it to leave.
mhm. Yeah, and I'm wondering if it came about because the person passed away and something opened and it came on in. I often wonder about that because
Yeah.
I do think death attracts, and I think that, and again, this is just my little wacky thoughts. I'm not trying to say this is a fact or anything, but I do think that death attracts, and sometimes portals open so we could go to wherever if we're ready to depart, and some things might take advantage of that and like, hey, I'm here now, you know.
Right. Who knows, right? But but it that is a very, I never thought of death being, because you're right about that. Um, I think that there's certain things in that can attract or unintentionally invite things into your life, right?
Hmm.
So if you have a lot of negativity in your home, and then that could attract something negative, something else negative in your home, right?
Yep.
So there have been times when I've done investigations, and I've just suggested, you know what, change the energy flow in your home. It's dark in here. You keep your home pretty dark, and you don't have any plants in here. Add some flowers. Add some plants. Add some light. Add some positivity. Change some things around, and try and change your attitude towards things a little bit, and see if your interaction around the home changes. There's so and there's also times when during investigations where I actually have apologized for people, There is a house I did an investigation at, and the person's partner was well, they were a bigot,
Mm.
and they were in a neighborhood of a very interracial neighborhood, and so they would say racist things, and the spirits in their home probably got offended, and they would mess with him a lot. And whereas I couldn't speak for him, but I could speak for the person we were there for. And she was definitely not that way. She has mixed children. She's a very kind person, and I just couldn't imagine her being that way. So I apologized for her and let them know that that was not, she wasn't intending to be disrespectful, and can't speak for the other person, but she had a lot of problems, and she was scared, and we were trying to make her not be scared. So I had her move her furniture around a little bit, did a session, did some apologies, and that helped her a lot.
Okay.
So, so a lot of times it's just that vision, that communication. I mean, what if you have a resident, like you're in a house like mine, you have a resident spirit, and let's say they just simply don't like the color you painted your walls.
Yeah, that could be problematic. So yeah, I guess one of the things you can do is apologize, but I also think you have to stay firm too and say,
Oh, 100%.
like this is my
My
place now.
space. 100%.
This is,
But
but
you don't want to go too far with that,
no,
and
no,
that's
you
what
don't
I
want
did
to be
when I
a
was younger.
jerk.
When I was young, that's where I went wrong, and that's what caused more problems for me.
Okay, you're
Because
being
I was
tough
told to
guy.
stand my ground, and but then me standing my ground turned into me cussing out whatever was there and making it worse.
Yeah, no, you can be
That's
firm and respectful.
yes, firm and respectful, 100%.
That
But
is,
every situation is different. Not every situation is going to be just as simple as moving a couple pieces. Basically, the I had her move her chair away from her stairs because she would look at her chairs and she would just freak herself out. That was my what I was thinking. Because you would always hear stuff like upstairs, whatever, and she and her chair. She had a lot of physical problems at the time, so she spent a lot of time in this chair, and she would freak herself out sitting in that chair. So I was like, you know what? Why don't you just move your TV where your chair is and move your chair over the other side of the room? So then that way you're not focused on what's going on in those stairs, and you're not scaring yourself. Because at some point in time, like I said, your head could be playing tricks on you too.
yeah.
And then on top of that, that apology that ended up helping her with it. And so basically, just basically the all I said, that he doesn't represent her, or sorry, they don't represent the other person, right?
Right.
And they're there, and they have no problem with anything other than being scared in their home. So it's if you put that intention out there, I believe that spirit can hear us. I believe that they can feel us. I feel like they're probably more aware of us than we are of them. That's my theory, but I have no way of proving that.
Yeah, but it makes sense to me. Like, because if we look at it from a certain point of view, they are energy. Everything puts out some
Mhm.
type of vibrational energy. And
Mhm.
if you find the right chord, you can feel what's going on there. And
Mhm.
we know there's some things that feed off of it. And if you feed off of it, you can tell a lot of things from it. So,
Sure,
so I can
sure,
agree with you.
for sure. When I before I bought my house, I felt spirit energy in here, um, and so and I knew that the house was an old house, and so when the inspector came, I had to meet the inspector here at the house, and so I let the inspector. He luckily started off in the basement, and so when he was done with the basement, I went down in the basement with some dowsing rods, and I just asked Spirit. I basically was asking. First, I asked for permission, like, hey, I want to move my family in here, and we want to build our memories. We want to build our foundation in this home. Is that okay? I got a yes. I said, we really want to coexist in our home with you, but here's the thing: I got to lay down some rules. Basically, you can show yourself to me. If you want to communicate with me in any way. But you scare my family, we got problems. And that was the rule. Like, no doing anything like real scary. Like, that was my rule. Like, be here, coexist with us. Better not be scaring my family. And honestly, that's worked real well. I've seen a white mist on my stairs. I've had doors swing open. And some of this stuff also could be from other investigations, like the door swinging open. I think that came from something at Monroe House too. But um, my kids, they get freaked. They're kids, right? They get freaked
Yeah.
out over like oh, the attic opening. They think my basement is super creepy. I mean, my office is in the basement. It's not creepy, but it's old. It looks like, if you're not in my office area, it looks like an old dungeon, right? But they haven't had any real crazy experiences. The craziest experience that anyone in my family has had, which is pretty big, honestly. But when I would be out, I would sometimes work late at night at an old job, and someone would pound on our back door, and no one, my wife would like look, and no one would be there, and that's like the scariest thing. But I think that's the stuff from outside. Um, so that's it, right? So it's worked real well. It's just a matter of having that mutual respect and recognizing. Maybe what if they just want to have their existence be recognized? We all want to know. We all want to feel validated, right?
Hmm.
What if in some of these home hauntings, the spirit is just trying to get validated? Like, hey, recognize me. I'm here too. You know,
Yeah.
what if I would be doing that? I tell my kids when I die, I'm going to throw pennies at them.
You know what? That's better than sneaking up and going boo.
I do that to them.
Oh, you're one of them. Okay.
I am. I am. Sometimes I'll walk right up to them and like calmly, and then I'll just go boo really loud, and I'll make them jump.
Well, that's messed up. They're gonna get you back one day.
Oh, I'm sure. I count
Oh,
on
you just wait.
it.
It's
I
like,
count on it. I love it. You got to have fun.
yeah.
Life is too short to not have fun and not, Yeah, and plus, you got to be on your toes. You got to be aware of your surroundings.
Hmm. You do. And speaking of surroundings and everything, okay, so since you're about to get back into the field, it could be physically tough because usually you're in a very hot place. Usually, from what I understand, I don't investigate, so I could be speaking from my bum, but I know that usually turn off the electricity. It's completely dark, and you're constantly moving around and you're listening and feeling these things. It can be mentally draining as well as physically draining. But you have lost a lot of weight recently. Are you physically ready to go back in there?
Physically ready?
Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, so I'm trying to think how I can phrase this, but the physicality, the physical toll, like, is there a physical toll on your body when you are investigating, like from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. or however long? Or is it more mental?
So it's both, to be honest. Um, so I just last weekend, part of my health journey, I've been doing. I have a friend that has a an event where that promotes healthy lifestyles and workouts and everything, and it's very grueling work that we're doing. A lot of cardio, really, and um, But really, the point of it is when on Sunday, not only was I a little um, sore physically, but I felt like I just got off an investigation. And when I say that, you feel like spiritually drained. Like I don't know how to explain the feeling. People call it the paranormal hangover. And that's a very real thing. Because it does take your spiritual energy, mental energy, and not to mention you're also up late and you're walking around a lot, and it could be really hot or it could be really cold. But there is a mental um, tiredness that you feel as well, because it is straining mentally, especially if it's a very active night. So yes, it is. It's both physically draining and mentally and spiritually draining. And you do feel it the next day. Sometimes you can feel it for multiple days.
Okay. So, but now since you lost how much? 40, 50 pounds?
50 pounds I've lost now.
50 freaking pounds. That's amazing. I mean, to put that into perspective, you guys like pick up a tire. Tires are not light. Pick up a tire and there you go. Like that is amazing. And do you think that weight loss is going to truly benefit you when you're moving around and listening out and just making your rounds around the property while you're investigating? Like, I would
Well,
imagine so, right? It has to be.
I mean, I'm still overweight. According to all the charts and stuff, I'm still obese. I hate that word. It just feels ugly. But, um, but I don't, my cardio is naturally better. And I also notice I don't sweat as much, right? There's just so many like little things that you recognize when you have this weight loss. So yes, physically it's going to help me a lot. But when I was that big, right? Um, I think I was also more intimidating looking to some people. And so how the my question is how will just me looking different affects when I'm investigating, and not necessarily me, but the interaction I get,
Yeah.
and how much interaction I get. I'm pretty well in tuned, and if it's, oh my god, bro, my lights just turned off.
Uh
Oh my, no, someone just tripped a fuse. It scared the crap out of me.
oh.
Oh my goodness! But I'm sitting here in the pitch dark in my 100-year-old basement.
I mean, it's
What's
the perfect setting.
it is now? There we go. This fuse doesn't trip very often. I wonder what they did. Huh. We'll find that out later. But um sorry,
All
squirrel.
good.
Um so yeah, I'm curious about that myself. How is this going to I now weigh less than I did when I started with Ectovision. So I'll have to keep you posted on that one.
Yeah,
Um
I'm curious.
because yeah, it'll definitely be easier to get around, right? I don't get tired as quickly, so physically I expect it to be easier. Um, but it's the other side of it. I don't know how it's going to affect that.
Okay.
We'll
And
see.
final question for you here, and this is one that I always like asking the investigators, but post investigation meal, what is it?
Post investigation
Yeah,
meal.
what will you be having after the investigation?
So I'm on the carnivore diet. So that answer is completely different now than it would have been. Um, but I'm probably gonna have a steak, man. I'm probably gonna grill me up a nice steak. That's what I'm hoping for. Yeah, maybe I'll just go to the store and pick that up.
Yep. Like,
Um,
yeah, why not?
right. But before it would be a good like hearty meal. Probably would have been something a beverage, highly caffeinated beverage of some sort, whether it be a soda or something. I don't like energy drinks with my meal, so probably would have been a Coca Cola and probably a nice like um, probably I don't know, good hearty meal. Maybe some pasta or hamburger and French fries. But nowadays, I'm not. I'm doing the hamburger without the bun.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, I and it's so weird not having sides, and because I don't have sides, I just eat more meat. 'Cause that's all I can really eat is meat
Yeah.
and cheese.
But hey, if it works, it works.
It sure as heck does work. I'm 50 pounds since November in 6 months.
That's
50
amazing.
pounds. Absolutely insane. I look like a completely different person. I had to since I'm still losing weight. I got new clothes, but I got them from the thrift store because I'm going to keep losing weight, and there's no sense in investing in expensive clothing while
Uh,
I'm
per-
losing.
Personally, I like thrift stores, so that's
So do
right
I.
up my alley.
A lot of right. And you get like some of the best. I'm a t-shirt guy. I love band shirts.
Mhm.
Man, you can get some really good finds.
Yeah,
I
I like polo shirts and Hawaiian shirts. So
Oh, I love me a Hawaiian shirt.
yeah,
You're gonna see some pictures coming up of me wearing Hawaiian shirts when my family and I go on vacation. So
yeah. So that's my thing. I love Hawaiian shirts. Very
yes,
comfy.
very comfy and they give off positive, right? Fun,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. You know, just
Yeah,
give me a pink lemonade, some shade, and I'm good to go.
100%. I'm right there with you on that.
And you know what? I think this is a good spot to end it. Shawn, thank you so much for coming on. And if someone wanted to reach out to you or anything like that, is there a place they can do that?
Um, the
Or
easiest way to do that would be on Facebook. I don't really have a website anymore, but you can just look me up on Facebook or heck, you could even find me on TikTok. I'm real good at answering messages, so if you find me on Facebook, um, just send me a message. I'm usually pretty good at responding. Um, there is I do have two accounts. One I don't really use anymore.
Mhm.
So if it says um like something like Shawn, my old account Gilmore or something like that, that's my old account. I check that maybe twice a year. So right now, if you find me, it's simply just Shawn Gilmore, and my profile picture is Rainbow Dragons. This is Love
Okay.
is Love. So find me there, message me. I'm happy to help anyone that has any questions, whether if you're looking to get into the paranormal or if you're having experiences you just want to talk about, or if you're looking for some answers, or heck, if you're looking for someone to investigate with. Hit me up. I'm open right now. I don't know where this path is going to lead me. I don't have any projects as of yet, but I have talked to a few people about some possibilities, and so something will give one way or another. Spirit has always led me right. So
Right on. Those links are going to be in the description below. So you guys be sure to say hello, Shawn, even if you have nothing else to say, because everyone likes getting a hi. Usually, I don't know,
all
unless it's
right.
early in the morning and everyone's grumpy. Um, while in the description, also be sure to check out Unexplained Possibilities social media on Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, and Instagram. Shawn, thank you again for coming on. And as always, guys, remember there are things that go bump in the night. Go ahead and tell them hi. Bye, everybody.